You are welcome here, just the way you are. No more hiding tears, no more covering scars. You are welcome, holy welcome. You are welcome here, just the way you want to be. Bring your deepest hopes and all your wildest dreams. You are welcome, holy welcome, holy welcome. You are welcome here, just the way you are. No more hiding tears, no more covering scars. You are welcome, holy welcome. You are welcome here, just the way you want to be. Bring your deepest hopes and all your wildest dreams. You are welcome, holy welcome, holy welcome.
There's something in the air, the dream of life in love, with minds that rest in prayer, sparking joy we're in awe. No matter where your path has been or time has somehow flies, like souls will come home again, true friendship ever thrives. Is this where the magic happens? Can you feel the hearts revealed right now in you and me? The secret is wherever we are. There's something in a smile that can turn a day around. Moments so worthwhile when we find common ground. No matter what the day might bring, right here we can align, knowing that we will be seen as divine. 'Cause this is where the magic happens. Let's feel all the hearts come close to me and me to you. The secret is wherever we are. So meet me where the magic happens, feeling all the hearts ignited now in you and me. The secret is wherever. The secret is whenever. The secret is together we are. There's something in the air.
Good morning. How are you, everybody? Happy Sunday to you. We are happy that you are here with us today on October 5th, 2025. Can you believe it that we're into October already? I'm just blown away. I'm just saying. We're so happy that you're here to join us for our Sunday celebration, and we hope that we have a lot to offer for you today. So we are the Center for Spiritual Living St. George. Our purpose is to arise in awareness, radical responsibility, inside out living. Spirit is all there is, and everyone is evolving. Our vision is to be a community-focused center, actively living, sharing, and nurturing its members and friends so that all may live their best lives. It's what we all want, right? We are an open, inclusive, and evolving spiritual community that supports its purpose and vision through sacred wisdom celebrations like this today, and sometimes in person. Empowering transformative education, youth and young adult programs. We really look forward to getting those underway at some point in the near future. Dynamic music ministry, which is of course founded with our blessed Alan, and we have some other artists who are volunteering to come forward and play with us. So we're really excited about what we may be bringing you in the near future. And of course, community inreach and outreach. Inreach to you and outreach to others outside of our center's community. Our tech today is Tony Kovach. I am your host. I'm Marina Anderson. Our music today is by Alan Stanley. Sue Fulmer, one of our practitioners, is doing the invocation and the reading today. And of course, Senior Minister Rev Joe Kovach is doing our talk. So I think we are going to bring Alan up to play There Is a Garden by Eddie Watkins Jr. Good morning, Alan.
Good morning, Marina. Good morning, everybody. Hello, wherever you are. Yeah. So as Marina said, we're going to do an Eddie Watkins song to start out, and it's kind of a laid-back song. So just stay laid back and be relaxed, and we'll get our ways through it. And Sue's going to come on off with the invocation, and we'll come back and sing a little bit more. So just sit back and relax. Welcome home. a beautiful garden where God's grace blooms. There is a garden where everything grows, a beautiful garden where love is sown. And in this place of light and love, you can have anything that you dream of. There is a garden where dreams come true, a beautiful garden. That garden is you.
Good morning. Join me in affirmative prayer where we know that as we believe, so it is. And so, feeling this vibration and frequency of the presence, the all that is, God, our Creator. And in this new month of October, we join together and know that there is unity, love, harmony, that there is evolution in each of us as we join together in this knowledge of knowing who we really are, that spirit is in and through us, and that we function with the same nature that is the power of the universe. I recognize the oneness of this group of CSL St. George in gratitude and love, knowing it is growing and spreading and giving love and light throughout our community, throughout those who join us and those who are in our community who are yet to join us, knowing that path is lighted and there is joy and a beautiful philosophy to be shared that is going out to our community and the world through this internet that flows perfectly, taking our light throughout the world. And I am grateful for all that are participating in this celebration today, reminding us of our brilliance, of our glow, of our light, and blessings to all of our loved ones, our friends, especially those who are needing special blessings of health and guidance, knowing that they are whole, healthy, that there is a part of them that is God, that is not touched by any illness, any disease, any accidents, any war. And we recognize that as we see that within, it will be portrayed without. And going into this service, I release my word knowing it is, and so it is.
So it is, Sue. Thank you. And in this place of light and love, you can have anything that you dream of. There is a garden where dreams come true, a beautiful garden. That garden is you. such a beautiful garden. That garden is you. Now we're going to bring Sue back, and she's going to read for us.
Thank you, Alan. So today I'm quoting Pam Grout. She's a best-selling author of over 20 books, screenplays, and TV scripts. She says, "The still small voice reminded me that everything I see, everything I believe, is just a story I made up. It told me that in truth, I am spirit. I am light. All those voices, those wars going on in my head are nothing but chunks of a collective consciousness that I can either believe and defend against, or I can transmute with gratitude. The real me," it told me, "is kind, giving, in deep communion with all of creation. The real me is a true force for love." I looked Pam up on her website, and found that she said, "We, the greatest of all creators with capabilities to build cities and inspire nations, are squandering our time watching reruns of The Office," or others that I look at. "We have forgotten that whole galaxies exist within our grasp." So that was a personal hint for me and my TV watching. I also read Pam Grout is a world traveler, a loving mother, a best-selling author, a millionaire, and an inspiring witness to everyone she meets. She continues, "That line is an affirmation I started using some 20 years ago before I'd ever had a child, become a travel writer or an author, or for that matter, before I even liked myself all that much. Evidently, affirmations work, because now I can proudly say all of the above are true." So I personally participated in an Insight Timer course this morning that asked a question worth contemplating. What is a sign that you have stepped into your brilliance? We all glow in brilliance, knowing in truth, I am spirit, I am light. Namaste.
Namaste, Sue. Thank you so much. We are light and spirit. Spirit divine, Spirit divine, Spirit divine. I'm trusting in spirit to feel all my needs. When I trust in spirit, I always succeed. Energy flowing, the light brightly shines. Spirit divine, Spirit divine. Sometimes I'm frightened and feeling afraid. Then I remember that I'm being used and exalted by Spirit divine. Spirit divine, Spirit divine. I'm open and willing, and I'm feeling up. The blessings I feel overflow in my cup, with gratitude pointing me to the one mind. Spirit divine. I'm trusting in spirit to fill all my needs. When I trust in spirit, I always succeed. Energy flowing, the light brightly shines. Spirit divine, Spirit divine. I'm open and willing, and I'm feeling up. The blessings I feel overflow in my cup, with gratitude thrilling me to the one mind. Spirit divine,
Thank you, Alan.
Thank you,
Well-
Marina.
Now go let those fingers rest a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. Hello again. So now we move on to the meat, if you will, of the sandwich. Reverend Joe is coming in and helping us figure out and learn and connect with how to glow up this month.
You just called me the meat of the sandwich. Thank you.
I did. You never know what's going to come out of this mouth, Joe.
Tony might be jealous. I'm not sure. We'll see.
All right.
Thank you, Marina.
You bet.
And thank you, Alan. Beautiful song choice today. Thank you, Sue. Great reading and always a beautiful prayer. Good morning. Let's take a nice breath together, settle in. I want to start out by saying thank you to everybody who came out and visited our booth last weekend at the Pride Festival. It was nice for me to be able to spend a whole day in St. George and meet so many wonderful people. There are so many people interested really in our philosophy in the sense of just trying to live the best life they can. I don't know, I probably talked to 50 people. It was a beautiful event. I appreciate all the security and the police for being there, but honestly, they weren't even needed. And that was the best part. The weather was beautiful up until the very end, which it waited right until the end of the festival for that wind and a little bit of rain to come in. It was just a perfect day. So, and now we move into a whole new month, as Marina was saying. Yes, it is already October, which means it's here, folks. The holiday season, they got Christmas stuff in Costco for over a month already. So here we go. And today it's going to be a fun talk today. The title of the talk is The Ultimate Glow Up. And I don't know about you, but when I read the theme, I didn't even know what a glow up was. I thought it was kind of a thing off of Grow Up, and it kind of is. So it's actually began back in the early 2000s. Where it's kind of like a popular culture term, and then it was used in a rap, I'm not sure, a hip hop song in like 2013, which renewed it, and people were hashtagging it on Facebook and things. And the idea is that you're making some kind of a remarkable transformation in like appearance or your style, your confidence, maybe it's weight loss or so on. And so people would post their before and after pics and to, show how they've grown in essence and share their joy in the fact about their changes and how they've grown up and glowed up. And so I want to talk about this idea of glow up is in the sense of a spiritual sense, right? So it's not necessarily about what is happening on the outer, but what is happening in this deep inner sanctuary, the transformation here that we know that when this changes, it radiates out into the world. It's literally the blossoming of a new awareness, of a spiritual awareness that feels like an uplifting of our spirit, our consciousness. And at some level, we're going to recognize eventually, if you're not there yet, that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And so I broke today's talk into 3 areas. We're going to talk about the glow up of science of mind, the glow up of centers for spiritual living, and the last and probably ultimate, which would be the transformation of spirit, which we're going to use a well-known example, but hopefully have a little twist on it. So let's talk about, again, this glow up, this transformation within science of mind itself as a teaching, right? What does it mean to have a science of mind glow up? Well, in our philosophy, originally called religious science, it was about proving if I have this idea of faith that is universally true, then it must be able to be proven in essence of science. It must be practical for everybody if it's universal. And so therefore, science of mind, I hit my mic, sorry, is about, again, not focusing on so much the physical change, although that is part of it, but recognizing the spiritual awakening first. And then we know as we change our thoughts and then the way we feel about those thoughts, and then the actions we take, then our physical world changes. And in essence, the big aha is to realize that we are truly of God. Notice I didn't say in God. A lot of people say we're in God, and in some level, if we visualize it, maybe, but we're all of God. Everything is of God because there's only one creative source of all. And every major faith says that and believes that. And thus, so do we, because it's in essence, even now, quantum physics is proving that. So our first quote has regards to that. Ernest Holmes says, the spirit within you is God, and the spirit within you is the same spirit that is within Jesus, Buddha, and all the great prophets who have ever lived. And of course, he would leave himself out of it. He wasn't a prophet, but he was definitely a wise person who was aligned very highly with the oneness and the wholeness of spirit. And so what is this saying? I am Jesus? Well, I'm not Jesus, but what I recognize is the same spirit, intelligence, power, consciousness, beingness that was in Jesus is available to me, to you, and is a process of awakening to it. That's what we in our faith call the Christ consciousness. Christ is a level of attainment, of recognizing, as Jesus would say, I and the Father are one. You recognize the Buddha consciousness with wholeness and oneness and so on. So in science of mind, the ultimate glow up is when we recognize and stop identifying with these limiting beliefs that we hold and start, well, how do I say start? And we align with those life-affirming beliefs, right, that support ourselves, that come from the infinite spirit that is. Right. So pause for a minute and just recognize one or two times when you've had that glow up, right? In your own life, when you've experienced a transformation, and maybe literally everything is life altering, but like literally 180 degrees, or maybe it was just one of those aha moments. We don't want to rule those out. A good example would be carrying around a belief that many of us carry around at some point, which is I'm not enough. And, as we do our spiritual work, our study, our prayer and practice, right, we begin to change what we are affirming. We're no longer affirming that I am not enough. We flip that to what we want is I am enough, right? I am whole. I am love. I am spirit in action. I'm spirit divine. Whatever those words are that tingles your insides that you align with, and we practice that, we eventually will become that, right? So over time, as the inner changes, the outer life changes, right? Especially when we attach more positive emotions to those affirmations, right? We may simply smile more, greet more, just recognize things that were always there, but all of a sudden we see them in a different way. We laugh more, our relationships improve. And it's not because outside the world changed, but our world changed, right? That's the glow up, inside out. Like when we shift from any time in a moment from self-doubt, right? And all of a sudden we find that faith within to find that confidence and do those things that we truly want to do, but we were allowing fear to take the driver's seat, and we kick fear out. And we take the wheel, right? And we recognize and affirm that we are capable, that this is for us. I have a personal example of this that did change my world. I was studying to be a practitioner in our faith, and we were learning about abundance and prosperity. And if there's one avenue that I've had the most difficult time, is aligning with that idea, particularly of prosperity. For whatever reason. And so I was doing this meditation, and and I've shared this before. I had a vision of Jesus, kind of the typical picture you would see of Jesus in his robe and long hair and so forth. And he was standing there, and behind him was literally this huge hill of gold coin. And he didn't speak, but I heard in my mind, like, this is all yours. And it was very vivid, very clear. And I heard myself first I felt fear, and I was like, what is that about? And I heard myself say in my mind, I can never repay that back. And that's when I realized I had a receiving issue. I had a belief somewhere that I gained that when someone gives you something, you have to give back and give back more. And that blocks receiving quite a bit. And so through an event that happened, just a few, I came upon this idea that, oh, it's everywhere and I'm already that. I just have to release this fear. I don't have to worry about the payback. Within an hour, we had received a phone call and that we were getting a $4,000 tax return, literally. And even back up even more, right? When I had that awareness that, oh, it's the money, prosperity is already here. I was actually in the pantry for some reason getting food for Tony. And then she got the call. And that's when she's like, oh my God, we're getting $4,000 back. I mean, it was that quick. Sometimes shifts are that quick, right? And here's the thing too, is we got to recognize when these glow ups happen, they're going to happen within first. And then the physical world change follows afterwards. And sometimes there's a delay there. And so just because we don't see it right away, stay with that feeling long enough and we will. So let's switch a little glow up focus here now to the Centers for Spiritual Living glow up. And I'm not sure if everybody knows about our history a little bit. So in the beginning, Ernest Holmes was doing his thing and he was basically doing talks all around the nation. And they kind of pressured him, his friends, into creating a religion so that his work, and it was a lifetime of world study, would not be wasted. And his main theme was always stay open at the top, meaning don't ever think like if we can't limit and say this is all there is. And I don't know if you're aware, but for many, many years, there were actually two separate teachings of religious science. There were two organizations, the United Church of Religious Science and Religious Science International. Now, they both taught science of mind principles, but they functioned separately and they functioned very differently for decades. And yet, when something is right and called by Spirit, it calls us always forward. And so our own teens kind of had a big play in the two communities, organizations coming into one. And I discovered religious science literally right before, probably during the process of joining and changing into Centers for Spiritual Living. And so you got to understand, these are like two very different organizations. And in 2011, after a lot of prayer, a lot of discussion, a lot of healing, the two organizations became one. And this was the Centers for Spiritual Living glow up. It was a dream that happened. And Ernest Holmes talks about, he says, we should never let go of our dream of a world united, a world without division, a world in which each person understands that God is the common source and supply for all. So no matter what it looks like, there's only one source. We're talking about acting within and of, right? So our organization, our movement really is, embodied this idea of becoming one. And that's why today Centers for Spiritual Living exists. And I believe that we are more power for that, right? We demonstrated the idea that as you multiply, two powers into one, that power gets amplified, right? So when we stand together as a spiritual community, right, our thoughts, prayers, and desires become amplified, right? We're honing in together. And the example I wanted to use in this one is kind of a simple one, but just the idea of having two separate rivers or streams, merging into one. Right? When they join, they create a greater force, right? And that force is able to go further, maybe go up higher, reach more land, assist in creating a more fertile land and supplying life to that land. And in the essence, that spirit is ever flowing. It's when we feel divided from that spirit when we're kind of a little river, we believe we're all on our own, that we're really not tapping into the full power that is available at any moment. And that's kind of when we align with that, that's when we get our ahas. And when we align with that over time, that's when we get our glow ups, because we're able to use that to transform our lives. The other thing that came to my mind was those two rivers that when we join are the mind and the heart, right? The head and the heart. That's the spiritual journey. Sometimes we're just using our head too much, and that's not good in living in this physical world. And then at the same time, we can't always use our heart too much in the sense of without rationalizing things, without recognizing what's in front of us. So let's go to the third glow up, which is transformation, I call it. And we're going to actually change that word in a minute. So maybe the deepest level of glow up, right? It's personal. It's transformation itself. And to me, one of the greatest metaphors is how the caterpillar changes into a butterfly. Now, we use that a lot. And whenever I think of it, I kind of automatically think about the end product, right? Is the beautiful butterfly being able to fly. But when you slow things down, there's a lot to learn in it. And, the metamorphosis of the caterpillar is just, it's a journey. If you think about it, caterpillar starts off completely an opposite of what it ends up. It's this, depending on the caterpillar, right? Some are big or short, but it's this usually a fat body, sometimes furry, sometimes not. Got all these little legs. It's walking on the ground. That's about all it can do. It can climb a little bit, not too much. So it's pretty limited. And yet it has a burning desire to be more, to experience more in a grander, freer, fuller way. It yearns to fly. And the transformation begins when, at first, the stage is the caterpillar stops eating. Think about that for a minute. So in our own experience, we can symbolically look at that as when we stop doing habits that are going to keep us from transforming. If I'm trying to transform my physical body, right, then there's certain habits, like if I'm out of shape, I need to release those negative habits and replace them with ones that are more affirming to the desire that I have, right? So I want to be healthy. I want to pay attention to what I'm eating. I want to get quality rest. I want to have health in all my areas, not just my body. I want to surround myself with the idea of health. So then the caterpillar decides to hang upside down. Right. So when we talk about glow ups here, well, our lives may take a complete 180-degree turn. We may feel like we're upside down. Right. And that's OK. It's all about the feeling. We may feel this is completely crazy. But if you tap into that idea of the heart and aligning, it's still going to feel right for you. We just can't allow the mind that's rooted in the past, the ego, to stop us. And then, of course, we know the caterpillar spins its cocoon. I think it's called a chrysalis. And in this stage, this always blows my mind. I did not know this until maybe within the last 5 years, that the caterpillar, the DNA literally breaks itself down into liquid. So it was literally like, think about that physically as yourself. That's a scary process. Now, we may not do that physically, right? But we do that spiritually, energetically. We have the power to completely change our lives. And yes, it's scary. And in that cocoon is the stage of becoming. That's when we have to really focus and really come from spiritual truth, where we really want to have the best and the highest support for ourselves, to surround us with the best in all ways. And that includes the material, Sue in her reading, it's talking about maybe we're wasting too much time watching shows that aren't spiritually feeding us. But what else are we doing? We need to cut all that out when we're in this delicate, sacred space of becoming. And it's going to feel messy. It's going to feel uncomfortable, and we're allowing and trusting spirit, right, to dissolve the stage, it's a dissolving stage, right, within us to remove what needs to be removed, to grow what needs to grow. And again, I'm talking physically, but metaphorically, right, spiritually. One of these things we talk about is taking care and healing of our shadow work, right? Kind of spending that time in the quiet, and maybe even with a therapist or counselor, because there's things that just we don't know, we can't always bring up on our own. We may just not have the skills. And it takes a skilled person to help us become aware of those things that maybe are holding us back, right? But they're necessary for our greater evolution. Now, new word I want to talk about, there's transformation, which is changing form, but there's also transmutation, which means completely changing one state of being to another. So the caterpillar kind of does both. It changes its physical form, but it changes its entire makeup and DNA, of course. And the last stage, final stage is, believe it or not, is rest. Like the butterfly has been genetically altered. It's now in there, but it doesn't come out until it's strong enough to, and it knows it's strong enough because it's able to break out of the old and allow itself to fly into the new. And that's something that I want to pause and ask you. Can you say that you've been getting enough quality rest in your life? It's one of the easiest things that we scrimp on. Yet, just like the caterpillar and butterfly, that's where our body, physical body, does its healing. That's where we give the mind pause from the 60,000 thoughts we're getting a day, not to mention the absolute barrage of noise all day long, mostly unwanted. So rest is crucial. Quality rest is crucial, right? And so in essence, as we're preparing our bodies, our lives to take flight, rest is a crucial part of that process. Ernest Holmes, another quote, he says, "Life is ever giving of itself. We must receive, utilize, and extend this gift. Success and prosperity are spiritual attributes belonging to all people." So this transformation, in other words, no matter what it is available to us. And this last stage of globe is the ultimate globe. And it's the last part of this is as you become the butterfly, as you transform and transmute into the new highest, best version of yourself, it's now the ability to give back and serve others. Take that in, right? As you commit to your own healing, you inspire others to do the same. You don't even have to say a word. I mean, how many times have you seen somebody lose a bunch of weight physically, get healthy, and you're like, dang, they look good. I wouldn't mind feeling better myself. Or you see somebody change a relationship, a couple, maybe they were always arguing and so forth, and all of a sudden they work things out, and you're like, that's inspiring. That's awesome. And this maybe doesn't have to be anything even that big. Just these ahas when you talk with a friend and they have this aha and they begin to change their life, even that process, it's a glow up. Don't limit your glow up. So the butterfly teaches us that when we let go of who we thought we were, right? How we were thinking and feeling and acting, and we thought that was the best, and we let that go, and then persistently begin to transform, meaning act, be in a new way. That's when we open ourselves to evolving again into a new expanded version of self, right? Now, one of these things that this last year, there's been a lot of loss in my life, both personally with my mother and a lot of friends losing their parents and loved ones as well. And that's a difficult time going through grief, loss, and it very well, depending on your relationship, feels like your whole world is falling apart. At the same time, if we recognize that as also what is happening coming through us, there is the old life, and it's in one stage it's ended, in a brand new stage it's just beginning, because we recognize there truly is no death, not of spirit, right? that when someone's conscious, they're always consciousness. Okay. And so we can communicate with others that are in spirit. But at the same time, we're still living in this physical life. We have a tougher time adapting. And that's where a philosophy like ours that is practical and rooted, whether you call it God or source or whatever you like to call it, the universe, life with a capital L. And you just begin to follow some new ways of being, create some new habits. We're not losing what was with that person. We're actually gaining. And as we gain, here's the thing, it may be scary, but let go of that old life, we actually find a new life with that person, even though they're not physically around anymore. And there's a lot of proof and evidence that this happens if we're willing to make that journey, right? So it's about being ready to soar. It's about allowing our new wings to carry us higher and having the faith that it's all going to work out for our best and highest good. That is the ultimate glow up. So again, we talked about the science of mind glow up, right? Our individual awakening to our own divine self, our own divine nature. We talked about the Centers for Spiritual Living glow up, the idea of movement from multiplicity to one, and the power that we gain by aligning with truth and spirit. And then the glow up of, well, the butterfly transformation, right? And transmutation, where we surrender into the newness and totally transform ourselves, allowing us to fly, experience life in a brand new way. So one of the things I'm going to ask, because I love this topic, and especially one that I've never heard of, is I'm going to ask you to email us your glow ups as you have them. Maybe you want to take a picture before and after, or maybe you just want to share some kind of a unique personal transformation for you. Please email me, Rev Joe at CSLStGeorge.org, not .com. So make sure it's a .org. Okay. And then I'm going to ask you to assist us, our community, in the process of transforming. And that's why we're following our practice of Arise, because I believe it's when people say, oh, what do you believe or what do you practice? This kind of sums it up. Well, in one nature, we're arising to our best and highest self and best, both personally as a community and globally. And then just for reminders, a little test. The A stands for awareness, right? The first stage is to recognize, to become aware of what we're not aware of, to know what we know. The R stands for radical responsibility. And what we mean by that is if it's in your life, you're responsible to it in some way. That doesn't mean you're responsible for others, but your relationship to the others. All right. I, inside out living. That's what we were talking about. Transformation. It happens from within, consciously first. We imbue it with the love and the joy, or we can also imbue it with fear, and we're going to get a completely different result. Either way, it begins on the inside. So if we're trying to change the circumstances of our life, we must begin within. Finally, we recognize spirit, God, right, is all there is, period. End of story there. And E, everyone evolving, everyone is evolving in their own way, in their own perfect way. I had to shorten the everyone's doing their best line because it was just too long and we wanted to keep this simple. So everyone is evolving. So reach out, share this message with people. It's great to see new people coming to our center and staying and just hearing that positive, everything we do is in the light of being positive. As we do with regards to our affirmation for the week. And our affirmation for the week is I am willing to transform, right? We affirm that first. I am willing to transform. I am open to Spirit's radiant glow within me. As I flow, I glow, baby. And so it is. So we'll end this time in prayer. I ask you to join me. First, recognizing Spirit is all there is. Everything is of Spirit. There is not Spirit and something else. There is Spirit only expressing itself in the infinite ways that it can. And I recognize that I am one of those ways. I am of spirit, and spirit is of me, inseparable. And what I know to be true then is to realize then this whole world is spirit in expression. And there may be things that I personally like, and there may be things that I personally don't like, and yet it is all of God. And we continue to claim that this is a world that works for all. We claim that our community, teaching and practicing science of mind principles as one community that transforms both personally, individually, as well as wholly as a community. That we are so proud of our spiritual. I am so proud of the spiritual community that I speak my word and affirm that it is forever growing and evolving to its next best version of itself. I absolutely affirm that we are continuing to take the right and best steps to grow. I love how we welcome everyone through our doors. We are inclusive. We have a universal message of love and support, of joy, of togetherness in song and in talk and in workshops and classes and events in the community, outside the community, as we support each other and we support our community at large. I am grateful to know that these glow-ups are happening for myself and for each one listening now, our whole community, that their awareness, my awareness is shifting as there's only one awareness, there's only one mind happening. So I recognize that this is happening in all, that today there is a new aha in each one's life. Today there is a new understanding of love in their life. There is a shift in just opening and being willing to release what no longer serves myself or another. And we do this in complete faith and trust because spirit is all there is. Fear has no power. Love, joy, just aligning in the silence, being with the very presence. That is a glow up for sure. And so it is. Namaste.
As I flow, I glow, baby. I like that.
Yeah.
Yay.
I love my little short things there.
Yeah. It gets the message across.
Glowing and glowing, baby.
Woo. Thank you.
So maybe when someone says, "Good morning, how you feeling?" I'm
Reverend
going to use
Joe.
that from now on. I'm flowing and glowing.
Right. I'm
Then
glowing.
again, they could be talking about my head. I'm not sure. So we got to be careful there. Thank you, Marina.
Well, I hope people will join. Yeah, I hope people will join us in the Zoom afterwards. So we might have some great stories ahead of us this
Absolutely.
morning.
And I really am looking forward to getting some emails and hearing about those glow ups. So please send them.
Cool. All right. Fill up Reverend Joe's inbox, y'all. Okay. Thank you for being with us today. And thank you, Reverend Joe, for your beautiful, glowing message. I always enjoy it. We experience a lot of prosperity around here and in community and love and laughter. And we also are blessed by your abundant contributions to Center for Spiritual Living St. George. If you wish to continue that or start it, you can do it through Zelle. The instructions are always available in the newsletter. You can do it online through PayPal, CSLSG.org. There's a link there, and this QR code that's here, if you wanted to use that, will take you right to the About page where you can get that information. And of course, we still do snail mail. We don't get a lot of things by mail, but we do get a few. So if that is the system that works for you, we are there. We have a PO box where we can receive that. So thank you for your generosity always. So we have an affirmation that goes along with our offering message, and I hope you'll say it at home with me. I am overflowing with love and abundance. I give from the source of my being, which is rich and unlimited. With joy and excitement, I share from this overflow. In return, the universe gives back to me in infinite ways, channels, and means, and so it is. Thank you for joining me in that. As I mentioned before, as usual on our online days, we have a Zoom conversation afterwards. The link is in the newsletter and also on the website. So it's also on our it's on our calendar and the website. So that's a really easy way to get it. And if you can't make the Zoom, or if you can and you still have questions, please email Reverend Joe at revjoe@cslstgeorge.org. And as he said, he really would like to hear about your ahas and your glow up moments. So he'd love to hear from you. Please email him. All right. We've got a lot going on. We've got 3 in-person celebrations this month. The first one is October 12th, which is next week. The Holy Land is everywhere. If you're not signed up for getting our newsletter, please go to our website and sign up for our mailing list so you can keep apprised as to what all of those are. And prayer requests are always welcome on Sunday or any day. Go to the About page on CSLSG.org, and you will see links to these beautiful faces that you see here in this great graphic. Our Reverend Rachel created, with AI's help, created this vision of our 3 active practitioners. I just love it. So they would love to hear from you, to share in your joys and your challenges, and pray with you and for you. All right. Lots of opportunities at Center for Spiritual Living St. George. It takes a lot of hands to make things happen as they are, and also for us to grow. So we hope that you'll consider to give of your hands and your heart, and help us with soundboard teching. I'm particularly really looking for someone to add to our list of video streaming tech. It sounds complicated. It really isn't very hard if you have any computer skills at all. It's pretty easy to learn. So I hope you'll consider doing that. We need greeters at the door. Anna coordinates that for us, and she does a beautiful job, and we have a couple people that help her out. And if you'd like to be one of those people once a month or something, talk to Anna at the next meeting. And we always need kitchen support. Diana Smith takes care of that for us, and helps us keep it going even when she's out of town. So if you'd like to help with the kitchen and providing coffee, etc., we'd love to hear from you. And as you invest in your spiritual home, which we hope we are for you, you can make a difference in small and big ways. Okay, those of you who remember our old place, we used to have a little library room, bookstore, and Sue in particular really misses it. So she helped us bring it back in our current space at a used book table. And so you can borrow books, buy books, donate for books, bring some to add to the collection, whatever you like. It's always in the back of the room now. So please check it out when you come to the in-person celebrations, and join our book reading inspiration. All right. We have a new workshop coming up after service, after our in-person celebration on October 26th at 12:30. Sue will lead an introductory workshop that's totally free. So if you're interested in things like near-death experience, past lives, mediumship, clairvoyance, synchronicities, signs and symbols, etc., etc., if you're interested in any of those things, please come and meet with Sue. And she is so knowledgeable about such things, and is really ready to share with those who are interested. So you can RSVP at any point, SueGFulmer@gmail.com, or just stay at the end of service on the 26th. It'll be about an hour, and again, it's perfectly free. All right. So we do have other volunteer opportunities for you. If you are coming to, have you RSVP'd for our installation on October 17th, we can use some hands there to help do raffles, help check people in. The hotel where we're going to be is going to do all the big setup stuff, but we have little things that we're adding, and so we need help with setup. We need help with cleanup at the end, and a few things during the festivities. It's going to be a great time. So if you have a little extra time to give for that, please email us and we'll sign you up for whatever you'd like to do and what we need. Fill the holes that we have. So that installation, as I said, is October 17th, which is a Friday. It starts at 6 p.m. and we'll have about a half an hour of socializing. We'll have a buffet dinner at 6:30, and then our ceremony will start about 7. And after the ceremony, we'll have some time to listen to live music by Mark Boggs, and do a little dancing. If you know me, I'm probably going to be out there dancing. So come join me. I hope you've RSVP'd, because I think our numbers are full. If you have any questions, give us a ring and we'll answer your questions for it, and we'll see you on the 17th. Next two services, October 12th in person with Reverend Joe. The Holy Land is everywhere. And the 19th in person is our extra additional third celebration in person with both Reverend Joe and Reverend Rachel. And then on the 26th, Bill Smith will, one of our practitioners, will speak at our usual fourth Sunday celebration. So write those on your calendar. 3 times in person this month: the 12th, the 19th, the 26th, all at the Masonic Lodge, same place. So we hope we get to see you 3 times this month. I'm so excited about that. All right. So our closing affirmation is at afoot. So Tony brings us all in. All right. Oh, there's all those beautiful faces. And we hope that you'll join us saying this at home. Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
It is this thing called life.
Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is in all that I do.
I am it, I embrace it, and I share it just the way that it is.
And just the way it is becoming. Thank you.
Thank you, live. Woo! Thanks for being here, everybody. See you on Zoom.
Namaste. See you next weekend.